Hello, my name is Stephen Adolf and I'm the writer of this book, Tuna Wars. I have a long career as a journalist and a writer on international issues, and since 20 years I'm investigating the tuna world. So why did I write this book? For me, everything started with a can and a tuna salad. Tuna is one of the most consumed fish in the world, so I was not an exception. But I got really interested when I joined the fishermen of the Almadraba, the traditional bluefin tuna fisheries in the south of Spain. You can read in my book about this marvelous spectacle, like described already by the French ocean explorer Jacques Cousteau. But I learned that this tradition went back 3,000 years. Even further, 50,000 years ago, Neanderthal eat tuna around the Strait of Gibraltar. So I started investigating old Roman and Phoenician towns and settlements around the Mediterranean and Atlantic with their tuna salt pits. Actually, they were real tuna towns based on large-scale tuna fisheries and tuna trade that formed part of big business networks and political power. And with the power came the Tuna Wars. In many ancient battles, tuna always was present. So we are talking about maybe the oldest European industrial and trade heritage. I decided to write about it and traveled around the world in search of tuna, and finally it resulted in this book. It is The World According to Tuna, if you like. Now, why should you read this book? This book is about how we survived our tuna wars and how tuna can survive us. It shows you how important tuna was in our history and more recently how we can manage to make tuna fisheries more sustainable. When the sushi and sashimi culture started to conquer the world, we began to consume tuna in an unprecedented pace. For bluefin tuna, this had a devastating results. The Mediterranean was plundered, literally. Big Japanese industrial fisheries, hardly any good governance policies, illegal fisheries, organized crime. There seemed to be no limits in eliminating the stocks. 10 years ago, the bluefin tuna was on the border of collapse. I saw it happening and I wrote it down. But the bitter irony is, as you can read in my book, Spanish monk Martin Sarmiento, already in the 18th century, warned that the tuna fishery should be made sustainable. So tuna was, in a sense, the pioneer in sustainability policies and fisheries. As a matter of fact, bluefin tuna survived against all odds and is doing a lot better now thanks to strong campaigns of NGOs fighting for its survival and a better management as a result. In a way, that was a turning point. If we can save such a complex fish as bluefin tuna, it must be possible with a lot of other tuna and other fish. That is a great positive message. So this book is about much more than only the world history of tuna. I try to take the reader on a journey that ends up in nowadays situation of all kinds of tuna in the global oceans that are under threat of becoming overfished. Don't forget, tuna is one of the biggest fisheries in the world. That billion-euro industry is targeted on a whole family of tuna species that end up in the can you buy at the supermarket or the steak at the fishmongers or in the restaurant. This book explains which tuna ends up your plate, in which ocean it is caught, and it gives an insight what kind of fleets are fishing with what kind of gears. You get an idea on how tuna trade is working, and maybe most importantly, what kind of wars are fought around your tuna. Now, about what kind of tuna wars are we talking? For the big companies, sustainability is becoming big business. Nobody in the tuna world like to be named and shamed as being unsustainable. But many big companies like to put on a sustainable face when it comes to tuna without really changing their policies on sustainable fisheries. Greenwashing can be a very profitable way to market your tuna, and that is the cause of many conflicts. In my book, I dive into those wars. Take what I call the so-called flipper wars, battles around the dolphin safe certificate. That is the most used and well-known tuna certificate worldwide. It is a fascinating story. Dolphin Safe was very successful. Since the 90s, millions of dolphins were saved in the Eastern Pacific area from massive slaughter in tuna fisheries. But then Dolphin Safe went global and was used for fisheries in other oceans where it lacks real meaning. You could put as well an elephant safe label on a tuna can. No elephants are systematically killed in those tuna fisheries either. Meanwhile, the big industry, like the American canning brands Bumblebee, Starkist, and Chicken of the Sea, financed and used Dolphin Safe label as a cheap way to save their image. But they also used the label to close successfully their home market for those competitors who refused to use the Dolphin Safe label. So it became a tool for other purposes far beyond sustainability. So these wars don't make it easier if you like to buy your tuna in a responsible way. I try to explain the different sustainability claims you find in the market today, and I also explain how the public policies on managing tuna take place. That is a fascinating world not many people are aware of. You have these 5 international management organizations that are supposed to rule over the big oceans and manage our global tuna stocks, a kind of United Nations of tuna, if you like. The point is that they still function very poorly. Here you find again tuna wars on a world level. The fight is between the big powerful industry and our common interests as world consumers who are more interested in saving tuna and the ocean environment. Despite the fact that this all sounds pretty gloomy, this book is fun to read. Tuna is not at all gloom and doom, on the contrary. You will find amazing tuna tales and tuna recipes. And if you like the fish and you like the oceans, as I do, you will certainly enjoy reading it. This book helps you to realize that tuna is not only an amazing animal and a great global heritage of our fisheries and society, it also happened to taste amazingly well. So anything to explain the world according to tuna is a joy to write, and I hope you certainly will enjoy reading it.